Justin Martell, an American filmmaker, made headlines in February 2025. He became the first American tourist to enter North Korea since the COVID-19 pandemic began. It was a surprising feat. The United States had a travel ban in place for North Korea. This ban had been in effect since 2017. It followed the death of Otto Warmbier, an American student detained in North Korea. Martell found a way around the ban. He entered North Korea using a passport from St. Kitts and Nevis. This small Caribbean nation offers a citizenship by investment program. It allows individuals to obtain citizenship in exchange for economic contributions. With his new passport, Martell could legally bypass the US travel restrictions. His trip wasn't simple. North Korea had been largely closed off to the outside world. The COVID-19 pandemic exacerbated this isolation. The country implemented strict border controls to prevent the virus's spread. But by early 2025, there were signs of change. North Korea began a limited reopening to tourists from certain countries. Martell's trip was a testament to his determination. He navigated complex geopolitical barriers, and he seized a rare opportunity to visit one of the world's most isolated nations. His journey offered a glimpse into a country often shrouded in secrecy. North Korea's reopening to tourism was cautious. It was limited to small groups from a select few Western countries. This reopening was facilitated by tour operators specializing in travel to the isolated nation. Young Pioneer Tours and Koryo Tours were among the first to offer these exclusive trips. These tours offered a glimpse into a country often perceived as inaccessible, but the itineraries were far from comprehensive. They were restricted to specific areas and activities. Tourists were allowed into Rason, a special economic zone near the borders of China and Russia. Rason was chosen for its strategic location. It offered a controlled environment for these initial forays into tourism. It also provided a glimpse into North Korea's industrial and economic activities. The tours focused on visits to factories and schools. These visits were meant to showcase the country's development and self-reliance. Despite the limited scope of the tours, the demand was high. Many were eager to experience this closed-off nation. They were drawn by the allure of the unknown, and they were curious to witness firsthand the realities of life inside North Korea. The reopening of North Korea to tourism didn't mean a complete relaxation of rules. Strict COVID-19 measures remained in place. Masks were mandatory in public spaces. Temperature checks were routine. These precautions underscored the country's continued concern about the virus. The pandemic's impact on North Korea was undeniable. It led to the closure of popular tourist sites, such as local markets. This was done to minimize the risk of transmission. These closures disappointed some tourists. They hoped for more authentic interactions with local life. Interestingly, there were rumors within North Korea about the virus's origins. Some blamed its entry on balloons launched from South Korea. These balloons often carried leaflets critical of the North Korean government. This belief reflected the deep-seated mistrust between the two Koreas. Despite the limitations, the reopening signaled a potential shift in North Korea's stance towards the outside world. It suggested a willingness to engage. It also hinted at a possible easing of the country's self-imposed isolation. One of the most notable observations from Martell's trip was the apparent softening of anti-American propaganda. Posters and billboards, once ubiquitous, were less visible. This shift suggested a potential change in the government's narrative. Restrictions on photography were also relaxed. Tourists could take pictures more freely. However, filming the tour guides remained prohibited. This indicated that some boundaries were still in place. Despite the limited interactions, the tour guides demonstrated a surprising awareness of global events. They were knowledgeable about South Korean politics, former US President Trump's tariffs, and even the ongoing war in Ukraine. This awareness contradicted the image of North Korea as completely cut off from the world. On the topic of Ukraine, however, the guides were cautious. They expressed support for Russia, North Korea's ally, but they avoided in-depth discussions. This hesitancy revealed the sensitivities surrounding certain geopolitical issues. Martell's experience, while restricted, offered a rare glimpse into a country often misunderstood. His journey highlighted the complexities of North Korea, and it left many wondering about the future of this enigmatic nation.